Okay, here we are yet again for another video featuring...
Skip Starhopper! It's Josh, explosions! He's gonna kill me. You know what? I'll take it.
Wait, I got you. Wait.
That's fair. Honestly, that works too.
My soundboard needs to be updated so bad. That what music takes so long to play. Yeah. Anyway, we're starting off way not serious enough for what we're about to watch.
Yeah, no, that's well, we are coming off of doing a very silly video. So
that is true.
We do need to change gears because this video is very serious, actually.
Yeah, it's a very serious situation. So I'm gonna give a quick summary of it. Woman in Minneapolis was parked in such a way that it seemed like she was obstructing ICE. ICE agents got out of their vehicles. One guy was doing a walk around to profile the vehicle. Two other ICE agents pull up and tell her to get out of the vehicle. And then while the guy was doing his profile, she tries to flee. And so when he notices she's trying to flee, he's right in the path of her vehicle. She hits the guy, and then he opens fire. Unfortunately, she perished in the exchange, and that's where we are currently. To me, I don't blame the ICE officer, especially after I've seen the first-person perspective. That's just kind of where I'm at. It hits me kind of like FAFO, you know?
Yeah.
She put herself in that situation.
And this is a breakdown from an SVU detective of the incident, breaking down bit by bit of what happens and how it could be interpreted within a court of law.
Yeah, I actually think if they're going to try to prosecute this agent, they're going to have a real uphill battle. First, they got to overcome the immunity and then all that other stuff. So, and the federal government's not cooperating on this at the state level. So there's a lot going on. I think it was self-defense. I think that we'll see what Angry Cops says, because he's going to have a much more nuanced take than I do. I just recently released a video about this whole situation, giving my full thoughts on it. I guess we can link to it in the description. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Anyways, this one, right?
Yep.
All right.
Holy crap, the shooting of a young lady in Minnesota by an ICE agent has really took the United States news media by storm. I can't remember a police-involved shooting that was this large since George Floyd. Ooh, Minnesota catching no breaks. And I say it's on the level of George Floyd because everybody's talking about it. Your mom, your neighbor, your local news, your mayor, your senator.
Okay, I know this is supposed to be a serious video, but he's wearing that shirt.
I know, it's so hard, and you can tell because I have watched this video. Full disclosure, I have watched this video. I sent it to Silas because he was talking about it on another stream the other day. I was like, okay, we send this to him. Because like I'll send him stuff where I'm like, hey, I think you could react to this. I don't know if you'll use it, but when in doubt, just send it. Gotta support the homies. And I love Angry Cops.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a very insightful. I think he's real. I enjoy his content, and I was just like, you know what, this would be a good one to react to.
And seeing a donut operator as a collaborator on this really makes me confident that we'll get the law enforcement perspective for sure.
Yes, and certain ones like this one being such a serious subject, I wanted to watch it beforehand just to make sure it was worth sending, which I figured it would be, but you can never be too careful.
Yeah,
so,
the unsubscribed guys are great. So
an E4 Mafia shirt talking about this does kind of contradict the seriousness just a tad.
As a former E4, I know what the shirt means. So yeah. Easiest rank to get stuck at for so long. All right, most people retire or end their contract at E4. Anyway,
late night talk show host, the vice president and president of the United States. But what's the reality of it all? No rage bait, no politics, just the video and legal precedents, and none of the BS. Well, that's what I'm here to give you today. So pull up a chair and let's break down the incident from the video, the comments, and the news that we've received so far. And if you're wondering, well, what could I possibly add to this scenario? I was able to get the dispatch call logs from a couple of people that work in the city of Minnesota.
That's actually kind of huge, isn't it?
Yeah. So
that's gonna give a lot of context.
yes. So I've seen bits and pieces of other people covering this. I have yet to seen anyone else get these call logs yet, and I'm sure maybe there are some out there. But as of just instantly coming across my feed, I have not seen anyone else have these.
Yeah,
and
they had the. I don't think Angry Cops got it, but recently the first person perspective was released. I don't know if it was a body cam or a cell phone cam.
Yeah.
But,
so this video came out the same day as the POV video came out. So more than likely, he had probably recorded it a couple days ago, edited it, and then uploaded.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that he does come up with a video of him going over the first person video.
I think that changes things quite a bit, at least from my perspective. Yeah. It definitely made me understand where the cop was coming from.
Yes, 100%.
So,
and before we go any further, I'm going to make one joke, and then I'll try not to make any more jokes just because how serious this is. Angry Cops, this guy 100% would be one of the kitchen chads, and that's the only thing I'm going to say.
I made a great meal for my wife who I love with the job that I have to earn money.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
All right. Let's get going.
Which can add a little bit of context to the overall incident. Now we have a lot to break down, and I'll even get into the what ifs later on at the end of the video of, well, what if that happened? And what if this means something? Does that mean that they can or can't do a thing? And we'll get there. But first, a word from this video's sponsor, Aura. Are you tired of scammers getting your phone number and blowing up your inbox with a bunch of spam? I know I am. Well, you gotta blame the data brokers that are out there. They're the ones that are buying and selling your data from stupid, disgusting companies that ask you to put your personal information in for everything and anything that you buy, and then selling it to scammers, hackers, governments, and they do it without your consent all the time. But you can ask them to stop, and they will. But if you did it on your own time, it would take forever, and that's why Aura's here. They make it easy by doing the hard part for you, getting your freaking information off the internet. Because once they see it, they boom, send out a request and immediately get it taken down. And plus, there's benefits to getting Aura besides that. Get alerts if your info pops up on the dark web. Real-time fraud alerts for credit,
you guys
bank,
keep these in?
24/7 monitoring.
Say again?
Do you guys keep these in for the editing?
Oh, yeah, we do.
You guys okay.
It's the original video. It's their sponsorship. They should be allowed to plug it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things of like, out of all of them, like, because I've watched when you've done the streams, and like this one, it's just like it's Angry Cops. Like, I support Angry Cop. Like you know what? He got a thing to sponsor. I'll watch the video.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, he's got to make money, and I'm not here trying to take food out of his mouth.
I know. I already bought shirts from him.
Yeah, so
he probably already has my data and it got to a broker.
I'm just saying, leaving the sponsorship in, I think, is the least I could do personally.
Yeah.
Now, if I don't care about the content creator, sure, I'll skip the ad. Or if the ad's been done to death 1,000 times. This is the first Angry Cops video we reacted to. So
okay, all right.
You know, I'm gonna let him do his thing. Maybe I'll interrupt it every now and then, but you know, if you think you need Aura, get Aura. Angry Cops probably got a promo code. I'm not ever taking sponsorships because, well, unless they let me say whatever I want.
Do like an unsub ad read where you just make shit up.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Or internet historian or something similar. Shady.
We just start reacting to all the unsub guys, their stuff, and having their ads in there. Like, come on, man! Like, can we come on the podcast?
If I could
promote it on your stuff.
Dude, if I get big enough to where they notice me and they invite me on, I will gladly take that. But I'll tell them I can't do real person, IRL stuff, OPSEC. You know, I gotta keep my kiddo safe from my spicy opinions.
I'll go in your place.
Yeah, I'll send Skip. You can hold the iPad on your chest, and I'll just be like,
"No, I'm going to hang out. Nah, you can't show up. All right, that's your loss."
Hey, come on! I got a kid, dude. Gotta keep him safe from the blowback. I don't want him to lose opportunities because he's my son. You know how the internet is.
Or daughter. The internet doesn't know the gender. How dare you assign that to him?
That's
I'm
right.
sorry.
We can't objectively prove that he is in fact a boy. Not without like photo evidence, I guess, or a DNA test.
God.
How silly of me to assume.
Unfortunately, we're ramping the silly back up, even though this video is very serious, and now I feel bad.
You know, the ad's silly. We can be silly during the ad.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
And besides, he's got his angry drill sergeant action figure shirt. Come on.
Yeah, and he is already wearing the E4 Mafia shirt.
Yeah, so you gotta have a little fun. Yeah, I know it's a heavy topic, but
imagine if he was wearing the Oasis shirt.
Oh my word. Too much. All right. Let's keep going.
To make sure that your identity is secure. Plus, you get a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and more. And of course, US-based support. 24/7. Try.
Real quick, does that mean if I call support, I'm going to get someone without an accent? Or at least a southern accent instead of, thank you for calling tech support?
It'll be the same. It'll still be the same. It's you're calling the person who's already has your data and just telling them to stop it.
No English. Bye-bye. All right.
I am sorry. No habla inglés. Wait, that's Spanish. What do you mean?
Oh, boy. Yep. All right.
Or for free for 14 days at aura.com/angrycops.
You heard the man.
The link below. And in those 2 weeks,
I'm not going to link it, but you see it on screen.
Exposed and sold. Let's kick this video off with a general overview of what we know right now about this officer-involved shooting. ICE agents are operating in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they're conducting an investigation. During that investigation, one of the ICE agents' unmarked vehicles are stuck in the snow. While stuck in the snow, the ICE
Okay. The vehicle in the red box is an ICE Yukon that's stuck in the snowbank. Green is parked to prevent other ICE vehicles from simply pushing that vehicle out. Her wife is out of the car harassing the stuck vehicle's drivers with her camera in his face and his face as he is trying to figure out how to get unstuck. Blue arrow. Okay. Given they created the scene, the guy filming is another activist who is collecting the shenanigans for TikTok points. Everything about this whole event was driven by these people dedicating their entire day to obstructing and harassing ICE because they disagree with the enforcement of democratically formed laws. Yeah, that's a pretty solid take.
One of the ICE agents' unmarked vehicles are stuck in the snow. While stuck in the snow, the ICE agents radio to others that they need assistance. Now, during the time that the ICE agents are stuck in the snow, that other agents begin to arrive so they can assist them in getting unstuck, a group of anti-ICE protesters, at this moment known as ICE Watch, block the road and obstruct traffic. The protest vehicles obstruct the roadways where the ICE agents' vehicles are located during this investigation, and that also includes civilian vehicles that aren't associated with the investigation.
Okay, hang on a second.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So this is literally a case of obstruction, right?
Yes.
Obstruction of a federal law enforcement operation.
Yes.
Isn't that a felony?
Yes.
Okay.
He goes more into that aspect of why she was there.
Gotcha.
Watching this really changes the whole perspective of the situation.
Well, as of 3 minutes into this video, ad included, I am thinking less and less that she was just a victim. You know?
Oh, no. Because there is a video of one of her cohorts basically giving a description of what her intent was to go in there. Like, everything she did was part of her intent to stop ICE.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that would be obstruction.
Yeah, it only gets worse.
Oh, boy.
ICE agents then approach the vehicle that is obstructing traffic. That vehicle attempts to drive off while ICE agents are making contact with it, and in the process, potentially strikes an ICE agent, resulting in that agent...
We can confirm that he was hit at this point due to the first-person camera.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Discharging his firearm and striking the driver of that vehicle. The driver received medical aid on scene, but was pronounced dead from their injuries. Now, that's as vanilla as I could make it. But like everything in life, it's not that simple, is it? Now, once the internet got a hold of some of the video by some of the protesters and other witnesses that were around the incident, of course, the internet took it and ran with it. And just like that, the internet has been filled with use of force lawyers. Those determining what is or what isn't legal, what is or what isn't justified, and trying to place intent on the driver or the ICE agent that fired his duty weapon. And that also includes intentionally leaving out other videos or deleting comments that could or do conflict with their statements or their point of view of the overall incident. So let's start at the beginning, go through all the videos, some of the comments, concerns, and the conclusions that people draw from on the internet, and we'll compare them to case law to determine whether or not this was or wasn't a lawful shoot. I find this to be one of the more interesting points of this police-involved shooting. Let's say, in a perfect world, where the ICE officer is without blame and we already understand that he is authorized to use deadly force. When does that authorization of deadly force stop? When is the vehicle no longer a threat? The first shot, let's argue and say that he's 100% in the right and that she is aiming for him, and he lets off that first round. There are photos of the bullet hole going through the front of the windshield. But what about the next two? The next two are when he's slightly to the side of the vehicle and shooting through the driver's window. If we can argue that the first shot is a legitimate good shoot because he was in front of the vehicle and feared for his life, could we argue that because he's to the side of the vehicle, that those second and third shots are an overstep when it comes to use of lethal force?
I actually think you could argue that, but I don't know.
So
I think that goes to a jury, doesn't it?
yes, but when you see how many shots fired compared to the timing of, time, like pause in between, there's like no pause. I think altogether from the time the officer steps in front of her to the time that she has been incapacitated is less than 3 seconds. It's like altogether from him walking up front to the end of the event is like 3.8 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
So in that short of time, I don't care who you are, especially with these trained officers, and mind you, this is the same officer that has already been in a traffic related incident where he got dragged 50 yards.
I think it was 100, actually. It was like 330 feet.
Regardless,
Yeah.
in a similar traffic incident that could have caused him bodily harm in one way or another. It comes down to, especially if you are an officer discharging your weapon, it's, did you hit the target, and is the target neutralized, and is anyone still in danger?
Yep, and he had to make that decision in less than a second, realistically, when you think about it. Because he didn't, based on what I saw in the first person, he wasn't looking for her to reverse. He actually didn't see a reverse. All he saw was the car coming at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, after that first incident, what else is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
And so...
And in the first person video, you can hear the lady's lesbian lover yelling at her to drive, with the conviction of they know they are doing something wrong. So the instant that somebody is saying drive,
baby,
and you are
drive,
in front of a car,
you look back up.
That becomes a already heated situation.
That was the escalation. Which makes me kind of think that the lesbian lover should be arrested as well, because that was incitement to commit bodily, or what is it, attempted assault with a deadly weapon. Yeah.
Well, no, because you see that she did hit him. So it's no longer attempted. It was assault with a deadly weapon.
Because a car is a deadly weapon in that context.
Along with the charges of impeding a federal investigation, and mind you, I am not a lawyer. I didn't go to law school, but it is one of those things of, if you watch and study enough things that are common in these videos, it's like, okay, it's very easy to connect the dots.
Yep.
So this is not legal advice in any way. This is armchair quarterbacking? Pretty much, yeah.
This is just based on what we saw.
Yeah. And so it could be that she could get charged with something, but it all comes down to at what court are they taking this to?
It's going to have to be federal, since it's a federal officer.
And he does bring up where it's going after all of the videos and his examinations of each part of this case.
Yeah, I think people were saying that since he drove off, it was really unusual. I think he went to the hospital, like directly to the hospital, Because you can see
You're talking the
he's
guy
limping.
who got hit, right?
Yeah, you can see he's limping afterwards.
And again, he's going to go over this. When an officer is involved in a shooting, they are removed from the situation. And I'm not sure if he did go to the hospital or not, but I know people were up in arms on the internet saying, well, why didn't he help her? Why didn't he do this? He just walked away. Yeah, you don't want the guy who shot you coming up and rendering aid. What do you mean?
Fair enough.
So there's a lot of stupid opinions that come up. There's a lot of stupid actions that happen because just wait. You know how the haunting Adeline video, I just kept telling you it only gets worse.
Oh, is this another one?
This is another instance. This only gets worse.
Oh no. Oh no. All right. Here we go.
People investigating the shoot are going to have to do is determine that one reaction resulted in that simultaneous firing of 3 rounds, bang, bang, bang? Or will they say that although the first round was justified, in that split second between the first and second round, there was no longer a threat to his personal safety as the vehicle was going to the right of him, making the second and third shots no longer justifiable lethal force? Honest opinion, because it happened so closely, I doubt that the second and third shots will be used as a secondary incident trying to show an excessive use of force. Either it all is or none of it is. Sure, we could...
He's arguing the time frame. Time frame matters real. I understand, and I actually kind of agree with that because it was so fast. My goodness.
And he plays it. I think it's like 3.8 seconds. The total interaction, not just the gunshots.
The gunshots, I think, happened within 0.75 seconds of each other.
It's
so
like
it was ridiculously fast.
And one point that I do want to make is if I'm correct, the first shot goes through the windshield, and generally a windshield, no matter where you hit it, is going to change the trajectory of a bullet because that's simple. It's just simple physics. It's a hard enough surface where it will penetrate, but it will stop part of the bullet, or at least slow it down and change due to the angle.
Well, yeah, and that's just any barrier you hit with a firearm.
Yes.
Anyone with any basic firearm knowledge knows that. So where I'm at with this is the second and third shot. Maybe he thought that the threat wasn't neutralized after the first shot. I mean, this is all speculation, though. We can't know what he thought until we hear him in court, if they even get to court. Let's be honest, because they prosecute him while he's absent in state court. That's going to be, I don't know, like state charges brought against a federal agent, but the agent never returns to the state. Then enforceability becomes really impossible at that point.
Yeah.
Plus, there's the immunity for federal agents. So, I'll just put it like this. After seeing the first person video, I can 100% understand that he thought his life was in danger. I think I can say that beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, because he's already, in the first person video, he's already being instigated, and it's already them going at him.
Right.
Taking, chirping cheap shots, no big deal. But at what point does he recognize this is escalating very quickly to where my life is in danger? And it went from quick chirps to there is a car coming at me. Exactly.
And if you look at what he was doing in the first person video, he was just casing the vehicle. He was getting it for the record. That's actually normal procedure. You walk around the vehicle, get the plates and a solid description, a video of it in this case. And he got all like the bumper stickers and stuff so they could identify it later. He was going to do a second pass on it. Still normal.
Yep.
He wasn't expecting her to drive into him. You could tell, otherwise he wouldn't have been there. He was just looking at the vehicle and getting harangued by some crazy harpy.
Yes.
So people say he was trying to block the vehicle. He wasn't.
No, the funniest thing is they're not even at a call right now. Like, they're not trying to bust somebody. They were not trying to arrest anybody. They were driving and got stuck.
And then they came in.
Yeah, and then the Ice Watch, which is such a stupid name, came up to harass them. Now, mind you, again, it already starts with impeding a federal investigation. So at that point, they are already within their right to arrest these people.
Yep.
However, they're trying their best to keep the peace. They are trying to de-escalate the situation. They are trying to do everything right and safe. And because the thoughtless actions of keyboard warriors, somebody ended up being fatally wounded.
Yep. See, I don't understand anti-ICE activists or their mindset at all. So the fact they were there in the first place is already wild to me. She was a mother, which that is terrifying in and of itself in my mindset. And she was willing and ready to put her life in danger in that context, because you have to realize when you're impeding federal investigations and you make a profoundly stupid decision to drive at an officer, deadly force becomes on the table because your car is a deadly weapon.
Yes.
You can't expect him to understand, like, to mind read you. He saw a car coming at him. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's he supposed to do? It was self-defense. And I'm wondering if the feds had the first person camera before everyone else did, because that's what confirmed it to me, was the first person view.
More than likely. And then they probably approved the release for the public to see, just so they could see everything that happens before this would go to a federal court.
Yeah. More complete information is helpful, that's for sure. Yeah. Anyway, back to the video.
It seemed like an eternity, but the time between the first and third shots are only a matter of 1 to 2 seconds.
So this woman here was actually distracting this guy. He wasn't looking until he heard the engine rev.
Yeah.
So that's how you know.
And that's the lesbian lover who is saying drive, go drive, or whatever
right.
it is.
Drive, baby, drive, or whatever. Yeah.
Drive, baby, drive. Yeah. And mind you, the thing, and like, I wish I was joking about this, because this is going to seem very insensitive. There is a dog in the back seat.
Yeah.
And that dog is now in line of fire from the stupid actions of her owner. Now, mind you, it is a dog. I do understand that a dog's life is objectively not as valuable as a human life. However, what if this woman's children were in the back seat? She would be doing the same thing. Well, I can't say that. That's a speculation, but
I don't think she would have been there if her kid was in the car. I'll be graceful there.
Yeah, and it is a stretch, but it's just this video just irritates me because of the stupid actions of somebody to cause so much distress in a community, because this is only going to escalate things in other communities, because people don't like to investigate and get all the information and start doing dumb things.
There's actually a case to be made here. You see where the wheels are angled, right? When the reverse happens?
Yep.
Watch the spin. All right, the wheels are aimed at him when they start spinning to accelerate. It's not until the gun is drawn that they turn. 13 frames.
And now we get to the aftermath of the shooting, the conclusion. The aid that's given medically.
13 frames and 60 frames a second. Or even 24 frames a second. That's not a lot of time. That's like half a second.
To Miss Good, and also the 911 dispatch calls, which I've received and I'll share with you. In some of the videos from the aftermath, it shows officers walking away, specifically the officer that shot Miss Good. People say that that's a red flag. They also state that nobody was giving her medical aid fast enough, and that civilians on the side of the road were stating that they could render aid, or that they were medical physicians themselves and could assist the officer.
Can I go check a pulse?
No! Back up! Now!
And I'll talk to those two things directly. First, the officer involved with the shooting not rendering aid and walking away. It's normal practice for an officer who gets involved with an officer-involved shooting to immediately remove himself from the area and allow other officers to render aid. There are already dozens of other officers there, ICE agents, etc., that can assist Miss Good after being shot and the vehicle stopping. Why the officers involved in the shooting walk away from incidents like that is to protect the integrity of an officer-involved shooting investigation. Hypothetically, if I were to shoot somebody and then I was the person rendering aid to that individual and that person died, would you not, or the public not, immediately wonder if I was actually rendering aid to the person that just A, tried to kill me, and B, that I just killed?
Fair point.
Yeah, immediate witch hunt, no matter what happened.
Yeah, so it's better to just let your Fellow officers take care of it.
And the fact of he's willing to walk away from that to withhold the integrity of an investigation should say more than whether or not he'd be able to render aid in the first place.
I don't know. If I was him, I would have been shook, like hard shook. He's also kind of limping to me, like from what I've seen.
Oh, he probably has the adrenaline going right now of
Yeah.
being hit by a car and then discharging his service pistol during the job.
Three
No
times
matter what,
in less than
whether-
half a second.
Whether he hit her or not, that still is you are firing at somebody. It's
Yep.
not targets. It's not an entity. That is somebody. I don't care how misguided they are, how misinformed they are, how ill-intent
American citizen
they are.
at that too, and they weren't firing at you, but they were charging at you with a car.
I know.
Oh,
But-
this is like self-defense on a civilian level, but you know, he's a
It's-
federal agent.
Yeah, so he's held to a higher standard.
Yep.
Which we all should be realistically, but for the sake of this video and the sake of argument, that's neither here nor there.
I would say even in a civilian context, he would have been. I think it's justified personally. Like, that's where I'm at.
Yes. Yeah. But somebody who is familiar with the law at best, rather than somebody who is a servant of the law and to uphold justice, in the argument can be made that they should know the law and should be able to do things accordingly. And when you see the first person perspective, yes, in the way that it gets put, it's lawful but awful.
Yeah. It's tragic that she died, but also I don't see her as a victim in any of this because at any point she could have just gotten out of the vehicle.
Mhm.
If she had gotten out of the vehicle, held her hands up, they would have arrested her, moved on, fought it in court later.
Yeah, and it's not like this officer woke up that day and was like, you know what? I'm going to shoot an ill-informed white woman today.
I think the
Dude.
thought process was, I hope I don't have to hurt anybody. I just want to
Yeah.
arrest the people who are in this country illegally and then get them deported.
Yeah, I want to get up, do my job, and I hope there's no incidents.
Yeah.
That's about the best day that you can ask for as a first responder or ICE agent, whatever you are.
Cop,
Like, 'cause-
ICE agent, whatever.
Yeah, because mind you, I'm a normal civilian. I'm just a normal guy. My day is I go to work, do a redundant task of producing one thing or another, being on the computer, yada, yada, yada. My day goes, man, I hope the day is good. I hope it's not shitty, whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, I don't have a gun on me. I don't have, well, that you know of. I'm not going to essentially deal with the public and their stupidity. Thank God.
On the day to day.
Yeah, and expect to treat people accordingly, even though they're trying to attack me, essentially, whether it's verbally, physically, whatever.
I can say that in boot camp, we got lethal force training. Like
Yeah.
when we're authorized to use it, warning shots are never authorized. You do not render warning shots.
Yeah.
What you do is if they are approaching aggressively, presenting a weapon, and when told to stop, they don't. They do not comply with orders. That's usually about when lethal force is authorized from a military watch position.
Yes.
If
And-
it's even remotely similar, I think all those conditions were met as soon as the car started moving towards them.
Yes. I think it would apply when the woman was shouting, "Go, babe, go," or "Drive, babe, drive."
Yeah, whatever
Because
it
it's
was.
a command to cause physical harm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think she should be arrested too.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's continue.
Even in this scenario, as much news as it's got, I think it's reasonable for you and I to agree outsiders looking in, including media, would have been upset that the officer who shot Miss Good was rendering aid and that she passed away. So it is common practice that the officer involved in a shooting that pulls the trigger, is not the individual to render aid to an individual that's been shot. I see that as a non-issue, but let me know if you disagree. Second, the rendering
That's
of
a
aid by
non-issue.
an individual that's on scene. We already have a chaotic scene where individuals have tried to prevent ICE agents from doing their investigation, and it's resulted in an officer-involved shooting. At this time, I think we can understand that the optics of allowing random people into an evidentiary lockdown area because it's an officer-involved shooting is a bad idea. Most officers are already trained in some form of quick combat casualty care. Tourniquets, quick clot is really bandages and pressure.
Yep, that's actually very common. Most basic training, even the Navy, will give you that. I was taught how tourniquets work. I was taught how gauze work. Quick clot was not for us because I think our casualty types are very different. But basic first aid, same things that like lifeguards would use. So yeah.
To assist somebody in living, to include CPR. And as we'll see in just a moment, when I break down the radio log, Miss Good is rendered aid immediately by professionals, a step above law enforcement officers, the fire department, and their much better trained staff. I'm not sure the fire department here has paramedics on it, but I've yet to see a fire department that doesn't have somebody medically qualified as a paramedic assisting them when it comes to incidents where individuals are injured, shot, etc., before medical personnel arrive. And when I say medical personnel, I mean the ambulatory individual. So now that we've broken down this scenario, the next portion of the video shows the detainment. After Miss Good waves on a vehicle, ICE agents in an unmarked car activate their lights and exit their vehicle and tell Miss Good to step out. They further their actions by going up to Miss Good's vehicle, trying to open the door and remove her from her vehicle. Now, some people say that ICE cannot conduct traffic stops, which may be correct or may be playing in the gray a little bit, but ICE agents do have the authority to stop vehicles and effect an arrest or detain somebody if an individual is obstructing an investigation.
Makes sense. If you do that to the FBI can do that to you.
Yes.
I mean,
and they've already made themselves clear as a possible threat by cutting in front of ICE vehicles, right? Anytime you go into a hostile area, let's just say, it's like if you're getting cut off, you're immediately stopped in your tracks. There's no more forward motion, and you're kind of a sitting duck. Now, it is suburban. It looks suburban Minnesota. So I'm not saying that it was like, oh, this was an ambush, even though it kind of is being ambushed by ICE Watch, but not,
they weren't like planting IEDs or anything.
Yeah,
but
it's not like a militant group. But immediately they are already on edge because, okay, what is this lady doing?
Let's not forget the vehicle attacks on ICE. There are hundreds of them.
Yes,
on record. So we can't ignore that context. They have to be extra cautious. What I'm thinking is the guy didn't expect her to move. Like the agent, he probably expected her to comply like a normal human being.
Yeah.
And once the order was given and he saw his buddies going up there, he was dealing with getting lambasted by the other woman. He didn't draw his weapon until the car was moving forward at him. You can see that in the video. The weapon was not drawn until the vehicle lurched forward. Honestly, that guy has an insane quick draw.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, there are people who say, like, should he have shot? That's a different argument. Is he justified in shooting? I would argue yes.
Yeah.
I'm getting the feeling that's what Angry Cops is building up to.
Yeah. It only gets worse.
Yeah.
Which, if we backtrack it to the beginning, was the intent of Miss Good being at the ICE agent's location during their investigation. Now, I use the word detained instead of arrest intentionally. Specifically New York, where I'm from, detain means that the individual that's stopped feels as though they're not free to leave. And that can be done in several different ways, which I touched on, and I'll repeat for you again. A law enforcement officer activates the lights in an unmarked car, not uncommon. Gets out of the vehicle, dressed as a uniformed officer. In fact, Miss Good understands that she's there to intentionally prevent ICE agents from conducting an investigation.
If that's civil disobedience, if that's the argument, then she needs to deal with the consequences of that by getting arrested, not trying to assault an ICE officer. Good grief.
Just wait.
It gets worse.
So she understands contact with an ICE agent, very possible. That ICE agent then gives verbal commands to get out of the vehicle. Now, I know some comments might say, well, it didn't say ICE, it didn't say police, you can't really make it out at that time. Once again, Miss Good is there to intentionally disrupt the investigation of ICE agents. Although it is an unmarked vehicle, it activates its lights, and a uniformed officer steps out of the vehicle giving verbal commands. A reasonable person would understand that they, at that time, are detained and not free to leave. And that detention is highlighted even more after the officer gives and continues to give commands to get out of the vehicle while attempting to open the door and remove Miss Good from the vehicle. Now, without trying to sound a little too sarcastic, as I am trying to be straightforward with this, could you imagine what may or may not have happened had she complied with the ICE officer with lights on his vehicle, in uniform, giving a direct command to get out of your vehicle and then attempting to open and remove her from the vehicle?
If she had just stayed in her vehicle and not tried to drive, she would have just been removed, arraigned, and taken in for a court date. Like,
Yeah.
that's the simplest way it goes.
And she might have to get a new window, but
Oh well. Come on.
yeah.
Sacrifice a window to live. Easy
I
trade.
know.
Easy
I know.
trade.
But when it comes to situations like this, people do not have normal people. Yes, there's talking about complying and following the directions. Yes, that is what the standard people should follow. However, this is already an outrageous situation to obstruct ICE officers.
Mhm.
So nothing is of the ordinary. So
A crime was already in process, so a felony at that.
and here's the thing: the ICE officers more than likely probably would have detained, maybe given a citation, maybe brought her down for arraignment, and then went on their merry way.
Mhm.
Could have been any of those things, as long as she had stayed cool and
Compliant.
by all means, and compliant. And by all means, we live in a country where you can protest.
Mhm.
No one will fault you for protesting. However,
Actively
protesting-
obstructing is not protest.
yes, protesting is not rioting. Protesting is not breaking in and looting. Protesting is not burning down buildings. Protesting is voicing your opinion, making yourself seen and heard, and wanting to make a change.
It's also
That is protesting.
It's also not blocking police from doing their job. Like, you can stand on the street, wave your signs, and yell as much as you want. The second you start blocking roads in the process of a lawful operation, you have stepped beyond protest at that point. That's active
Yes.
obstruction. So, yeah, I can see why this is no one is. I don't see her as a victim at all. I think that she clearly played a stupid game here. I think that's
Yep.
not me dancing on her grave. I don't think she should have died.
No, it's
At the same time, FAFO, right?
yes, but like you said, she didn't deserve it.
No
But
one
she
deserves
made
it. Yeah.
mistakes that led to this situation and the end result. And now her children, no matter how we may see her, those were her children, and they're not going to see their mother. They're not going to understand why she's not here anymore.
Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. No one's happy when someone dies, especially not in a situation where it was so avoidable. Like the
best-
easiest two choices were to do nothing, and all that would have happened is ICE would have yanked her out of the car and probably done an arrest.
If she got out of the car, for all we know, and I'm not saying that I know this would happen for her, it could have been a pat down, run her ID, see what was going on, and if shit went wrong, or if everything was okay, maybe they let her go. It's like, all right, we're already in a bad situation. We want to get out of this situation, because at that point, it could have just been, this is more paperwork than it's worth. She didn't really do much. She just kind of jammed up traffic for a little bit.
Yeah, it would have been a case of they moved her vehicle for her.
Yeah, if they just disregarded the fact of she was impeding a federal investigation, it was like, okay, well, she's impeding traffic. Whatever. Let's get her out of the way. Let's get moving. We got a job to do. Because obviously that was not their job that they were going to.
Yep. They were
Well-
trying to help a vehicle get unstuck.
Yeah.
All of this because they wanted to impede ICE from helping a fellow officer get unstuck in the process of getting to a lawful operation.
And it only gets worse the longer you watch.
I'm starting to sympathize more and more with the feds, and I don't like that. I don't want to defend the feds. My word.
The way that I see it is you're not sympathizing with the feds. You're sympathizing with the man who felt he had to pull a gun on a woman.
Yeah, he's got that traffic related trauma too. So
so this guy has already gone through it, and now it's just more.
Okay.
So the best you can do is thoughts and prayers and offer condolences to the family of the woman that passed.
Yeah. Well, let's see where this goes.
Now, at this point in the incident, this is where the controversy begins. This is where attorneys, politicians, late night TV shows, and other members of the public really focus on. At this moment of the interaction, Miss Good puts her vehicle in reverse and backs up a short distance, and then puts her vehicle in drive as an ICE officer goes in front of her vehicle, making his way around to the driver's side. And she drives forward where the officer shoots through the vehicle. His bullets strike Miss Good, which continues her acceleration into a parked vehicle and then into a pole where the vehicle stops. And I'll break this down further into 3 smaller incidents: driving, striking, and the shooting. Let's start with driving. Having already been given instructions by a uniformed officer, Miss Good puts the vehicle in reverse as the officer is attempting to open up her door. It is at this moment that the officer who shoots has already pulled out his firearm. Now, people are disputing, well, she was driving backwards at that time and not a threat. Why did he pull out his firearm? Which, to somebody who's experienced some of these moments in his career, finds mind-boggling. Officers can draw their weapons if a potential use of force incident is present. Potential. An officer doesn't have to wait for a firearm to be pulled out and then pointed at him to then draw their service weapon. An officer, and this is usually in their manual of procedures, can draw his weapon when he feels threatened or that there is a potential for violence, to include deadly force. An example: if I do a traffic stop and I see somebody rooting around in the center console aggressively digging at something, I could infer that they could be reaching for a weapon, and I could draw my firearm out. I could then give verbal instructions to show me your hands, and that person could obviously pull out a firearm and shoot at me, or could have just been digging in their center console aggressively because they're panicking and have no weapon on them. Now, in that incident, I would reholster and then engage that person verbally, but in no way, shape, or form is me pulling out or removing my firearm because there is a potential threat, any violation of a manual of procedures, or an
even on the federal level, that's true. If someone's brandishing a weapon at you, you can 100% draw your weapon.
Yeah.
It's when you sight, that's when things change.
Yes.
Yeah. If you just have the weapon in ready position at rest, you're still fine.
Yeah, this isn't, the American Revolution rules of engagement. You have to wait to be shot in order to shoot back.
Now this is be ready, but
yes,
don't assume. Right.
Excessive use of force. Now, we've already used the word intent. From an officer's perspective, after giving verbal warnings to an individual to get out of the vehicle while wearing their uniform and having their overhead lights, that person decides to move their vehicle, as in shift, to reverse, and move. And this is while an officer is attempting to open the door and attached physically to the vehicle. It is reasonable to assume that that person is now going to try and drive away, possibly into officers, in an attempt to flee. They have already shown that they will disregard the verbal orders and the physical action of the officer trying to open up the door and drive away. And now we get into a micro point that people are really dialed into, and that is where the front tire is turned to. Individuals are stating that because the wheel was turned a certain way, that adds additional intent. Or
I think we can actually reasonably assert that he could not see where the wheels were pointed.
Yeah, there's been a few people who Crowder did one where he tried to reenact. I
did that one on my video. Yeah, I showed the Crowder reenactment. He was saying he with the wide angle lens, he could not see the wheel. So
And again, the whole incident takes place in 3 seconds. The shooting
Mhm.
takes place in less than a second.
yep, he had to make that decision in less than a second.
Shows the thought process of Miss Good as she backs up and drives forward. Some people state that because her front wheels are straight and pointing towards
Come on, hang on, I want to watch this one again.
and drives forward. Some people state that because her front wheels are straight
Where the wheels start spinning forward, her wheel, like, they are not turned away.
Yeah, if you were just trying to drive away, there would be no abrupt, switch to drive from reverse to floor it into an officer.
Mm-hmm. Good grief, good grief.
I know it's
And-
rough, but it gets worse.
Mm.
pointing towards the ICE officer in front of her vehicle as she accelerates, but the wheels don't get traction. It shows that she was willing to strike the individual officer in front of her vehicle. Others are saying that because she turned the
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting argument. Regardless of whether or not she intended to hit him, she was willing to hit him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something a lot of people don't bring up enough. Yeah, I heard him say that. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, hey, moving on.
wheel shortly thereafter, that is an attempt in order to avoid the officers, and therefore has no liability and is zero threat to the officer that's in front of her vehicle making his way around to the driver's side. Which makes me want to rehash how we got here. And this will come up again shortly when I talk about the shooting, the actual shots being fired. Miss Good is there intentionally to obstruct ICE officers in their official duties. She is detained by ICE officers when they activate their lights, step out of the vehicle in uniform, given verbal directions to get out of the car, have that officer then reach for the handle and attempt to open the door physically and remove her, and now she has chose to ignore those verbal commands, put the vehicle in reverse, and drive a short distance, couple feet, as an officer in front of her vehicle making his way to the driver's side pulls out his firearm. Having all of these things happen in the order that I stated, Miss Good then makes the decision to accelerate.
That's actually something we haven't thought about. If she had braked instead, she'd still be alive. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, like I said, it's no one goes into reverse straight into drive in number one, in a calm demeanor and in a non-escalated situation. So the argument whether she intended to or not, whatever. We can throw that out the door. I don't care at this point. It's every other fact of what happened was a bad choice.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a domino effect of bad choices that led to the end result.
Yeah, and that's why I think this whole thing feels so avoidable to me.
It was 100%. I feel like most shootings could have the same caveat of all this could have been, avoided if people didn't make bad decisions. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in.
Yeah, people are messy.
Yeah.
It's upsetting. All right. Yeah.
Any defense attorney would have an extremely difficult time trying to defend Miss Good if she stated that she didn't know that she was detained at that moment. Once again, intentional obstruction, lights, officer in uniform, verbal commands, attempt to physically open and remove the driver, backs up as another officer draws his firearm and points it at the vehicle, at her, the driver. Not even driving forward yet, no shots fired, and a jury or a judge, if it's a bench trial, would have an extremely difficult time believing that Miss Good was not detained at that moment. And now we move on to struck or not struck. From the different angles and the different times being put together, in my opinion, it looks like the officer is struck.
Yeah.
Or potentially he puts his hand on the hood, jumps back, and that acceleration pushes him backwards around the corner of the vehicle as he fires at Miss Good. Now, does the striking matter? Yes, it does, but it's not as important as people think. Whether he's struck or not struck, it is the officer's interpretation of whether he is being assaulted with a deadly weapon.
Yep. I was so hoping he was going to bring this up.
Yep.
Oh man, like that. It's kind of vindicating in a way because I was thinking the same thing, especially after seeing the POV video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. If I was in his shoes, I would have thought I was going to get hit, like with a like what was it, a Honda Pilot? I don't know if that's a multi-ton vehicle. I don't think so. But even still, it's heavy enough to where it's like I wouldn't want to get hit by a Mini Cooper, for crying out loud.
Yeah, whether it's 1 ton or 2 ton, it does not matter. I do not want to get hit by a car.
Exactly. So as soon as I see a car coming at me, if I have the means to try to do anything to stop it, I'm gonna do it. Like that's to me, his reaction was entirely reasonable. So.
Yeah, there's no realistically, there would be no getting out of the way for most normal people, right? Because you're not locked into that mindset of we are in a hostile situation. I don't know if she has a gun. I don't know what her intentions are. Because most of the time, I get into it with somebody. I'm just thinking, hey, you're an idiot. We disagree on something, whatever. Nothing comes of it. You're trying to hit me with a vehicle. Yeah.
Like that's a completely different thing. So yeah, I get why some people say he shouldn't have shot. I understand it, but when I see it from his perspective, I get it. I really get it.
But a lot of those people have never been in a situation like that. A lot of it's keyboard warriors that are going to throw their opinion out there.
They haven't even seen the video. Yeah.
Yeah, even though they don't know what they're talking about or what's going on. Like, it's bad enough that I'm talking about it because obviously I've never served. I've never been a police officer. It's just I am somebody who will watch police videos just to understand what is happening.
Yeah, body cam footage and stuff like that. Donut does a great job with those videos.
Yep, and I watched Donut. I watch all these guys and their breakdowns of what is happening. And there's so many common occurrences of all the same bad decisions. That's easy to kind of see where the bad decisions are at a certain point.
This body cam footage has actually been huge for understanding how best to stay alive in a police encounter. People don't even realize how useful this is, because in 99% of the ones that end in a fatality, I can tell you, like, beyond a reasonable doubt, you just complied with the officer's orders or put your hands up and surrender, you would have ended up in a significantly better place.
Or, just stayed home and not actively sought out to pick a fight with these people.
True, yeah. It's stay home, raise your kid instead of going to actively obstruct a lawful operation. My goodness.
Well, like, here's the thing. They're called ICE Watch, right? Why can't they just sit and watch? Like, if you think they are doing something illegal, okay, stand by, document it, call it in. Okay, you have every right to be concerned that unlawful things are happening, even if it's by, people who are trusted to uphold the law. Understandable. Not every country and not every law is fair. Not every, because people aren't perfect. The laws are made at times that they are necessary and they can be outdated. Like there's a law in Michigan where it was a woman cannot cut her hair without her husband's permission. That is a legitimate law that was in the book. It's not upheld.
Yeah.
No one has ever enforced that in this common day.
Vestigial law.
Exactly.
I mean, Mississippi's got quite a few of those, but they're mostly about taking your wife to the courthouse on a Sunday if she's been misbehaving, shall we say.
But regardless, it's if you think that there is injustice, by all means, I get the drive to stand up for what you believe in, what is right, but there is a right way to do that. You're not going to end up on the 9 o'clock news, that you're not going
home in a box.
End up in a box instead of going home to your children.
Yeah. Yep. So, man, and then I haven't even talked about like the Tim Waltz and the mayor of Minneapolis stuff that came after this. They're making it so much worse. So let's keep going with the video before I spiral out there. I might crash out, honestly.
Okay, it gets worse.
Justified crash out.
Honestly, yeah.
He believes that she is driving at him and that vehicle will strike him. He is allowed to use deadly force. Let me break that down because I know you're getting upset. What do you mean if he believed? From a victim's standpoint, if I go up to an old person with a squirt gun, but it doesn't have any orange tip and it looks like a firearm, and I point it at them and I say, hey, give me your money. And then they pull out their .44 Magnum and proceed to put every bullet through my sternum, I am at fault. Why? Because the victim, the individual...
Perceived threat. That's actually a huge part in self-defense cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to turn this case around to have the officer as the victim.
Mm-hmm.
Because by all definitions, technically that's not wrong.
Yeah.
He was a victim of her assault. She was a victim of a shooting. Now, two things can be true and still have a different outcome of, well, what actually happened. But people are not going to say, oh, he wasn't a victim because he is an officer. He's not a victim because X, Y, and Z. And I think we all know what X, Y, and Z reasons are.
Yeah.
But regardless, this is presumably, if we just take it at face value of, this was a mother and a citizen who was in a predicament that ended up with her losing her life. Did she make some bad calls? Arguably, yes. Could this have been avoided? Yes. However, as misguided as we may believe she was, if she didn't try to assault him with a vehicle, arguably, then she would still be alive.
If she didn't put the officer in the situation where he thought she was trying to assault him with a vehicle.
Yeah, if he wasn't put in a position to become a victim, this wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
But again, we'll go in a circle about this because of what she shouldn't have done, what she should have done, what he did, what he could have done. Doesn't matter now.
Yep.
This will go to a court. This will be resolved in some capacity. Whether or not you like how it's resolved, that's a you problem. And we're just here to talk about it, react to it, and give opinions.
We're commentating. We're not experts in the field.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of training in the area, mostly watch training. Like, to me, the vehicle charging directly at you is presentation of lethal force, which in the military, at least in active duty, if someone's charging at you with a vehicle, lethal force is authorized. Like, that's what I do understand. It's been a while. It's been over a decade since I was in boot camp, but, assault with a deadly weapon, there are people who are charged with assault with a deadly weapon for hitting people with their car intentionally. Yeah. So the precedent's there. That's what I'll say. All right, let's continue.
Reasonably believed that I had pulled out a firearm with the intent to rob them, which is a deadly force authorized situation. If I pull out a knife and start screaming at you, you feel that I may stab you with that knife. My intent may be to put it away. It could be a rubber knife. But you as the victim feel, and reasonably so, that I am threatening you with a knife and that I will stab you.
Yep, that's what it is. Reasonable perspective. You don't have to be a mind reader. You just have to believe you are in imminent danger. I just wanted to lay that out. Yeah, I've heard enough self-defense cases to understand this. All right.
Or I have the potential to stab you. That is also a deadly force authorized incident. So, an ICE agent crossing over the front of the vehicle, having seen the vehicle back up while an officer is trying to open the door, post verbal warnings and the lights being on and detainment, reasonably believes that that person, after backing up, could potentially run his partner that's on the vehicle or him over, draws his firearm.
Yeah, I think that he didn't see the full backup based on the POV video. I think he caught like the tail end of it. Yeah. And then when the acceleration forward happened, that's when the deadly force was authorized. At least, man, the perception of danger at that point, as soon as she reversed, I think that would have been that tipping point, where the authorization kicks in. Just because when you think about it, if she had just slammed reversed and dragged that other guy, you can hope he lets go, but sometimes when you're in those high adrenaline situations, you'll seize. You won't let go. It's actually counterintuitive to let go in those situations. A lot of people don't know that. Anyway, I'll keep going.
The vehicle then lunges forward and accelerates, to which he believes he is about to be struck by a vehicle and fires. And if you don't think that a vehicle is a deadly weapon, I would strongly disagree. Just look at the amount of times that vehicles have been used in order to intentionally assault large groups of people during terrorist attacks, or even domestics where somebody gets upset at another person and decides to run them over with a car. A car is a 2-ton bullet that you can turn. And it just so happens that the officer who fired those rounds into Miss Good's car was drugged by a vehicle 300 yards while attempting to effect an arrest just
300
6
feet,
months ago.
100 yards.
So even if this officer was on the stand, he could state, I have been drugged by a vehicle just 6 months ago because somebody did not want to be arrested. And here he has another scenario, an individual ignoring directions and verbal commands from
Lawful commands
a
at that.
uniformed ICE agent, a federal officer, who is then trying to make entry into her vehicle to effect detainment, possibly an arrest, to which she ignores, reverses the vehicle with the officer attempting to open it, attached to her vehicle, and then accelerates in the direction of the officer that's holding the firearm. Now, in my personal opinion, it looks as though his left hip bounces off the front headlight of the vehicle as he puts his hand down on the hood and attempts to jump out of the way of the vehicle. If you disagree with me and say, no, you have to be directly in front of the vehicle or it has to hit you in order for you to use deadly force.
At the bare minimum, he was clipped, and that could still be a fatal injury.
Hold on, play it, because he's going to say that.
Okay.
I would then ask you, then where is the cutoff? Do you have to get hit by the vehicle? Does it have to launch you a certain distance? Does a certain amount of it have to make contact with you? And what amount? Do you just have to be near it? How near? Because if you're putting your hand on top of a hood and having to do some Michael Jackson weird hit move to avoid being struck, you avoid being struck by the vehicle,
He
not
said
the
it, come
vehicle
on.
avoiding you. From the point of a victim, I would say that that vehicle is a legitimate threat to your personal safety, including a threat to your life. I
Yep.
would also reference all the accident videos you see where people just get clipped a little bit and fly in the air or are drugged underneath the vehicle.
Yeah.
It's a vehicle in it. It's made of metal, right? I'm a dude just made out of flesh and bones, right? Now we move on to the shooting.
Before we get to that,
Yeah.
man versus car never ends well for the man. I'm just saying.
No.
Like, this is a known thing. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Get ready for this. Let's start at the beginning. Why was Miss Good there? Well, from video that was on scene prior to the shooting taking place, and also an interview with one of the other protesters that were a part of Miss Good's overall group,
Remember
we
how I
know
said
that
it
Miss
gets
Good was there
worse?
to
Oh, yeah.
intentionally protest against the presence of ICE agents. And during the interview with the co-protester of Miss Good, the co-protester stated this.
They clearly wanted her out of there because she was the main car leading the protest, is my understanding. I talked to another guy who was driving behind her, but she was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do, and so they wanted to get her the hell out of there.
Oh, that video is very, very bad for her. If like they're pressing charges against it,
Yeah. Well,
like.
again, what you were bringing up as the lover should be charged. Okay, she's obviously an accessory to
Facilitate
impede to impede, facilitate, to instigate at the very least, I think she could probably catch a manslaughter charge.
attempted manslaughter at least. Yeah,
Yeah, something along those lines.
I mean, she was facilitating the execution of a felony, right?
Yeah.
Like interfering with a federal investigation is a felony. Like any federal operation, any lawful federal operation.
Yeah, so this, and I don't know who this person is, of what they were thinking was going on, and then coming on here and making, like, I don't know what her idea was or what was happening, but this just really solidifies the fact of she set out to do something stupid and it cost her her life.
Yeah, this is definitely boiling down to FAFO. You know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
And in this case, it's the ultimate stupid prize.
You hit the jackpot, so to speak. Ugh.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the jackpot you don't want. Why even risk that? Come on. I know why. Because the reports say that the charter school that her kid is going to is very, very focused on social justice, and she got into this group through that school.
Yeah, from what I understand, and I don't know how true this is because it's
that's what I've
multiple
heard.
sources of things. It's that school was trying to teach people how to fight against ICE and essentially radicalized already radical people.
Yeah, I would say putting a kid in a social justice school, like in my opinion, that is child abuse. Social justice is not good for kids at all.
And again, I don't know if that's confirmed.
We'll have to wait and see.
I haven't done a whole lot of research into it. There is still video and evidence coming out. It's just
we'll see this again in 6 months.
Shit, I'm expecting to see more things tomorrow and the day after.
That's going to be hot and fast. I'm saying we'll get the full picture in probably about 6 months.
Yeah, if that, it'd probably be more like a year.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, look at what happened with George Floyd.
Yeah, no. How long did it take them to confirm that he had just obscene amounts of fentanyl in his system?
Anyways, let's just keep moving because then we're going to start spiraling out because we're both going to start crashing out.
We're crashing out over
I know
Minnesota being just objectively a bad state at this point. My word.
Minnesota. I was going to make a joke. I'm like, nope. We're trying to stay as serious as possible. Like, it's a very serious subject. I don't want to diminish the seriousness of it because hopefully
this doesn't happen again. I don't want this to happen again.
Hopefully this does not happen again.
Yeah.
And mind you, we're not out here celebrating somebody's death.
No, but we can call balls and strikes here. We're not saying she was completely innocent in this. What I am saying is she inserted herself into a situation where this was a knowable risk and took it anyway, despite being a mother and having people that cared about her. I genuinely think that this whole situation was so avoidable and very much tied to her agency, and the ICE officer was just reacting to the situation as it was unfolding.
Yeah.
So,
and condolences to her kids.
Yeah, and the family as a whole.
Prayers to the officer. Because number one, he's doing his job. And number two, he was assaulted.
And he had to take a life.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize that messes with people.
Yeah.
Even when that's a part of the job, it doesn't matter. Psychologically, it does stuff to you. Like, ask any Marine or Army man who has had to go into an active combat zone. It doesn't matter how much you hate the enemy, it still does something to you. So, yeah. In this case, it was an American citizen doing something dumb. And what you would want to see, if I was that officer, what I would have wanted to have seen is just her to cooperate and get out of the way. That's it. I wouldn't have wanted anything else done to her.
Yeah.
Like, for real. This whole situation was botched badly. And I don't think ICE is responsible. Not me personally.
No.
And I hate defending the feds. So, how dare you make me defend federal officers?
But we're just a drop in the ocean of all the people who are going to be commenting on this. The people who are making videos, making podcasts, all that stuff.
That's true. We got Angry Cops here by himself pulling in how many subscribers? Him and Donut. Yeah. Over 400,000 views. Yeah, we're not even going to hit that same metric at all. But what I can say, I'm just going to say what I think about it because, if I got to make content and I want to actually cover important things, I have to be willing to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'm just the friend that agreed to help a homie out.
Yeah, brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
Thank you for this video. Now we're getting into we're getting into the real heavy bad stuff here now. So
I just want to point out one thing really quick.
Yeah, go for it.
It really undermines, the seriousness of this video when the profile is coming from is Chillinois. Like, you're posting a video of somebody dying. Maybe cut out the name. I know,
internet but culture. I'm a VTuber commenting on this, dude. So
yeah,
the seriousness factor can only go so high. But I will speak as though this is a serious topic, even though I'm speaking from behind an avatar for operational security reasons.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
So it looked like she was impeding ICE vehicles.
Definitely.
Miss Good was there
Wow.
as a part of a larger group to protest the presence of ICE. Her job and intent was to block or barricade ICE vehicles from attempting to do whatever it was they were doing, and the video of her doing just that shows that, yes, she was successful at it. I bring this up. Why? Well, because it shows the intent of the individual, Miss Good, on why she was in the area. Some stories and individuals have posted that she was a mom, caught up, confused, and trying to get out, but the video of her intentionally blocking ICE agents in her...
I didn't want to show this.
Casing the vehicle, comes around. Yeah.
Does she look confused?
No, she was chirping him. She knew what she was doing. She thought she was hot shit.
Yeah.
That's okay. We don't change our plates
Yeah.
every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking country. Come at us? You want to come at us? I said,
No.
go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
You keep posturing.
Hold on, back it up for a second.
Yeah.
So back it up to like right as she's yelling "Drive, baby, drive," and notice. Okay, pause it.
Oh, hang on. Yep.
So it's right before she starts turning the wheel. You can see she's clearly looking to start moving. So go ahead and play it.
She's looking right at him.
Pause.
She's looking
Yeah.
right at him. Okay. Yeah.
It's not like there's any hand signal like get out of the way. She's not trying to be like, hey, I'm trying to get out of here.
hmm
So I didn't notice that the first time I watched that video.
The more we watch it, the worse it looks.
It is. Everything that's coming up just makes the entire thing so much worse.
I hope he makes a follow up to this after he gets the POV video because
Me too.
dude, I need to hear what he says about this. But my own thoughts, how do you, the guy is justified. He's justified.
vehicle, and the video of her co-protester stating that that was what she was doing and what she was meant to do or had planned on doing and was very successful at it, disproves that. Well, it takes that narrative of lost white woman and puts it to bed. Next portion of video, before anything really occurs, shows Miss Good still in the middle of the roadway, but at an angle, waving vehicles on. Now, some people in the comments and other posters state
More like she failed to stop a vehicle. She was driving directly at it, but that vehicle pushed past.
See, she was peaceful. She wasn't impeding traffic, she was letting people go, which implies intent. We don't know who she was letting go or why. Unfortunately, she's dead. The only thing we know is that she was previously preventing ICE agents from driving through, but now at this moment is allowing some people through. Whether or not she acknowledges that they're civilian vehicles just going on their way or an ICE vehicle, obviously is speculation. One person obviously can say that she's letting vehicles that aren't ICE agent vehicles through, which means she's letting all vehicles through. And another person could say she's letting civilian vehicles through and not letting ICE agent vehicles through, but some of them got through because they're in unmarked cars. Nobody's right. That's just based on speculation. We don't know what her intent was when it came to waving other cars around her. But we do know that she was there to intentionally prevent and obstruct ICE agents from their investigation by blocking the road, and that she'd already done that successfully. And while we're on the word intent, people are also implying that because she waved some people on, there was no intent to later on strike the ICE officer. Which, wow.
That's a leap.
Quite a stretch.
Yeah.
How many times have you watched an episode of Cops where originally somebody's extremely compliant, but then later on either fights with or tries to shoot or runs or obstructs in some form or fashion officers from them doing their job or trying to effect an arrest? Often. Can a person's previous actions show an intent to eventually use force or become more obstructive? Sure, somebody yelling, screaming, and already being violent could then up it, but somebody being compliant doesn't automatically bring compliance into the future. Compliance and non-compliance can change like that. Yes, officer, I'll give you my ID. Pulls out a gun and shoots him. But guys, originally he said yes, he would give him his ID and he was complying with officers.
I get what he's saying, but honestly, this I've seen this way too many times in like cops and like donut videos.
Yeah.
They try to ambush cops.
Yeah. And
That's really it.
And again, going with intent. The thing that annoys me the most is the people who are trying to put words in a dead woman's mouth. Like, we don't know all the facts of what this woman was thinking, what she was going through, but yet everyone with a phone and an opinion is able to tell you exactly what she was thinking.
I'm just judging based off of what I saw from the videos.
Yeah.
I think that
And
that's more fair, really.
Realistically, that's all we can do as just bystanders. We're reacting to a video of somebody breaking down bit by bit of what they've seen, and they have experience. They are professional, and I guess basically the only thing we can comment on is the morality of the situation.
Yeah,
and that's
the morality
pretty much
is it sucks. It sucks a lot. Anytime someone dies needlessly is terrible.
Yeah.
We can trace the events and all that. At the end of the day, she died. It sucks. It's awful. But we can't blame the cop for his course of actions after all that we've seen. And to say it was murder, people actually say that he murdered her. I just can't get behind that, because that's a crime of intent. I don't think he set out to kill her. I think he wanted to neutralize the threat. And in a situation where a car is charging at you, by any means necessary is usually how you neutralize the threat.
Yeah.
It would have been the same if she was advancing on him with a firearm, sighted on him.
And he's trying to immobilize a moving target that is currently up his ass, basically. So the fact that he didn't hit anybody else is a miracle, because the slightest jolt from being hit by that car, it would be very easy for the gun to be jarred upwards or to the side
and hit another
and possibly
protester,
hit someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter that he did unfortunately hit what he was aiming at, fortunately unfortunate,
it's
due to the circumstance.
Yeah, it's fortunate that he didn't hit anybody else. It's unfortunate that she lost her life.
But if he, just for speculation, if he was like aiming for her shoulder to kind of get the point across of stop and possibly, render that arm not like useless, again, it doesn't matter.
Training,
because the fact of the matter is a gun had to be pulled
and fired
and fired.
Yep, 3 rounds discharged.
Anything else after that kind of doesn't matter of where he was aiming, what his intent was. There was already a deadly intent to harm him. He already had his gun drawn.
Perceived intent. He perceived the intent.
Yes, perceived the intent and fired.
Yeah, and then people were getting onto him for calling her a bitch afterwards, right? If a lady tried to hit you with a car,
yeah, that's
human reaction with a bit of rage. Honestly, I can't fault him for that.
Second time in 6 months, I'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah, it's like what if that's all he said about her, and that was just reacting to the interaction. He was being kind of nice, honestly. I would be saying a lot more choice words about a woman trying to hit me with a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
the verbiage, technically, he could have just been talking about the situation, like, my arm, fucking bitch.
Yeah.
That hurts. Like,
my hip got knocked out of whack.
But remember, if in this day and age, words, I guess, don't have any sort of real meaning. So who are we to say what his intent was? What context he used those certain words in?
Even at its worst, though, it would be it's still understandable, because she tried to hit him with a car. Yeah, exactly. It's understandable. It doesn't show hatred for the person necessarily, but definitely for the situation.
And even like you said, it looks like he's limping.
Yeah, he's
generally
hurt.
I'm not chipper and I turn into Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. I'm like, just, everything's oakley dokley. My shoulder's dislocated.
Hiddly hiddly ho there, neighbor. You dislocated my hip by hitting me with your car, but it's all okay. God's forgiveness is infinite, and so is mine.
No one's gonna do just quietly, bask in the fact of like, oh man, they hit me with a car. Hope they're having a good day. Like, no, something happens to me, I'm usually cussing up a storm until I calm down. I'm like, all right, fine.
Are you okay?
It doesn't hurt anymore. Nothing's broken. I don't need to go to the hospital.
Yeah, and that's on the good end, but no, I get why the officer did what he did. I'm not going to fault him for that. And those 3 shots, expecting him to judge each shot individually when they happened over the course of less than a second is not reasonable.
Yeah,
you take as many shots as you need to neutralize the threat. That is protocol. All right, moving on.
But then moments later, he shot somebody. And just because somebody's compliant at one time doesn't mean that automatically attributes compliance later on, or a lack of a threat. In Minnesota, ICE agents are currently being monitored by ICE watchers who are currently staged at the Bishop Whipple building. Minnesota Park Police have had reports of media vans staged at Fred Wells Tennis and Education Center across the street. MPD has closed this case, and further criminal investigation is being handled by the FBI.
Wow.
January 7th, 2026, at 09:39 in the morning, caller saying ICE agent shot a female in her car. 9:40, ICE officer who did this is still on scene. 09:42, squad cars are assigned to the call. 9:43, traffic advised to shut down traffic. And 9:44, a group is starting to form. At 9:45, fire is giving medical aid. What we can state so far is that within 6 minutes of a 911 call going out, the fire department was already on scene, likely with their own trained paramedics.
Can we give major props to the fire department here?
yeah.
Like 6-minute response time. Good work, guys. I'm so sorry you had to see that scene, but I mean, keep up the excellence there. That's really good time.
Yeah.
Especially where I'm at, where it would probably take 20 to 15 minutes for even the police to arrive. But
yeah,
good job getting there fast.
Paramedics
Yeah, that's some good
assisting
timing.
Miss Good after being shot. 09:46, taping off streets where the incident occurred. 9:47, officers are told to make room for the ambulance coming from 1 block south. 9:49, crowd control is needed.
Less than 10 minutes, the ambulance is on scene.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Where the victim is, and the crowd needs to be pushed back. At 9:50, the call is updated, showing that the shots fired are from federal officers. 9:52, more officers are being sent for crowd control. And 9:53, more cars are needed. 9:55, shutdown of 2 streets. At 9:56, EMS is transporting an individual to HCMC, which I assume is a medical center or hospital. At 9:58, another transport loaded with the victim to the medical center, along with the administration requesting a perimeter be made to assist in further evidence gathering. 10:03, 2 casings are recovered. 10:04, the agent has been moved to a
2 casings. There was 3 shots, right?
Yeah.
So where's
But-
was the third just left in the chamber?
But here's the thing. You know how I said it gets worse? At a certain point, they might have been like, we found these 2, take these, we're searching for the third. This is the part that bothers me the most about this video, and you're about to see why.
All right, I guess we'll keep going then. 2 casings. I guess that's important. Let's keep that in mind.
federal building. 10:06, additional ambulances are responding. And 10:07, agitators on the east side of the crime scene are cutting police tape. This is important.
Why?
Individuals that are upset about an officer shooting are now cutting police tape and interfering with a potential homicide investigation.
If they want justice, they gotta let the police do their job.
But that's the thing.
Oh.
They don't believe it. Number one, this is already caused by the police or the ICE agents, whatever. So they're already taking it upon themselves to do what they think is right. But what they think is right is impeding the actual investigation that would lead to justice if for some reason that it was proven that the officer discharged his weapon with ill intent by not following X, Y, and Z laws. But with all that thrown out because these people are being social justice warriors, trust me, it still gets worse.
But I mean, this local PD was the ones. Oh my goodness, they don't understand how law enforcement operations operate, do they? And they don't understand that if they do believe this is a murder, they are ruining their chances at prosecuting it.
Yes.
Yeah. So, ugh.
This is not the last time. If you're upset
Not the
about
last-
investigations going poorly or having evidence thrown out that you thought was damning, it is moments like this when individuals break a police line and interfere with homicide investigations that occurs. At 10:10, more
Leave it
people
to
are still
detective
needed
to
for
have to
crowd
lay it
control.
out.
10:13, more MPD officers are needed to get ICE agents to evacuate the scene. And between 10:20 and 10:26, leadership from federal agencies, as well as city council members, have been arriving on scene and requesting to talk to MPD leadership. At 10:27, once again, people are ripping down cordon tape, police tape, and interfering with the investigation. 10:27, a crowd is surrounding officers, and by 10:30, people are ripping down tape to allow cars and vehicles to drive through a cordoned area by police that are now investigating a potential homicide. At the same time, 911 callers are stating that there's an irate man calling himself the governor, and that Bloods and Crips are going to be meeting at a location, potentially, to cause an issue, which is concerning the 911 caller. I'll put the rest of the call logs here so you can read them as you like. I'll also be posting them on Instagram and Twitter. But the rest of the 911 call log states other things like the mayor arriving on scene to give an impromptu press conference, federal agents being out of the area completely, individuals throwing snowballs, and protesters screaming and threatening police officers, MPD officers who had nothing to do with this entire scenario.
Real quick,
Yeah.
does he cover where that third casing is?
I don't believe so, but also he doesn't like exactly go over the. So there's this list, and it flips over to the next part of the list, which he's like, I'm going to leave these up here. Go ahead and pause it so you can read it. So just to go over it, it's mayor en route at 10:54, 10:56, EMS clearing the scene at this time. If EMS is needed, add EMS back on. And then 10:57, people to block ICE convoy. So they're at it again. 10:59, do not use 31 Portland access scene. Okay, 11 o'clock, backed up. Whatever. I believe this is Border Patrol. Okay. Border Patrol deployed pepper spray 34 west of Portland. ICE being surrounded. Crowd still following westbound from Portland. Snow and ice being thrown at federal agents, but no MPD. So, okay, so then where's the no MPD? Where the hell are they?
2 people exposed to chemicals, both decline EMS. Someone slashed some tires.
Yep.
Mask up and strike team.
Mask up. Crowd attending to push through tape. Going to be overrun shortly. EMS stage area.
Triage,
Projectiles
okay.
and ice being thrown at departing vehicles. Working with PIO for media staging. Oh my god.
Yeah.
More people walking in alley of Portland with gas masks that have technical backpacks.
All ICE agents have left the scene. Okay.
Yeah.
There
It's
should
just
have been
down on South Side.
there should have been an obscene number of arrests here. Like an absolutely ludicrous amount. Because isn't tampering with a crime scene a crime?
Yes.
And they did nothing. Minneapolis,
So
you don't have a
immediately-
city. You don't have a police force. You have cowards.
Immediately, this basically turned into what almost seems to be a riot within about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Okay.
So then I think it goes to the next page too, because then
Good.
there's even more shit.
Yeah.
To include tires.
Press briefing will be at
Yep.
City Hall. That's where it should have been. FBI on scene. Yep. FBI should have been on scene. They need to be. It's a federal. It's a
hoping to
federal
have
situation.
crime scene processed within an hour. This has already been 2 hours since the incident.
Yeah, the FBI can't exactly mobilize that fast, especially when they're, going in hard and fast. They have to call in special agents and stuff.
Especially because there was that one call of no MPD, which I believe would be their Metro Police Department to help them.
Minneapolis.
Where
Police
the hell
Department.
are they?
Yep. So no wonder
Okay.
the feds don't want to help the state.
Yeah.
They did nothing to assist in the investigation, so this crime scene was already tampered with.
Yeah. 11:38. Crowd calmed down now that ICE is gone. 11:42. Protesters moving to Lake Nicollet near Dollar Store. SWAT remaining on scene but staying in their vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so SWAT had to come.
Grief.
Per BCA, this could now be an hour-long crime scene. Time on scene to process is now likely several hours. BCA on scene now saying just a couple hours to process scene. Violent activist group forming, claiming to be protective agent with Care 11. Black jacket, green pants, southbound in alley east of Port. Okay, so somebody's claiming to be a justice warrior. I don't know. Flag burning. Okay, You have that right, whatever. Flag that was on fire is dissipating now.
They kept it burning for 5 minutes. Wow.
I mean, hey, good quality flags.
And why waste the money if you're going to just burn it like that? My goodness.
Listen, man, why
burn it in the first place? Yeah.
Like, this is the timeline of a poorly written crime movie. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Western Perimeter Interior crime scene. Yeah. Being hit with snowballs on east side. BCA and FBI are in convoy leaving. Ice and snowballs are being thrown at officers. Leave all crime scene tape on site. Squads being surrounded.
Okay, look.
This is just terrorism.
Isn't throwing objects at police, is that not assault?
Yeah.
Assaulting an officer. What is happening in Minnesota? My goodness. This is infuriating.
I know.
Being slashed on vehicles, and other protest groups beginning to gather around other locations in the city. So here we are. Who prosecutes this now, right? A federal agency is involved in an officer-involved shooting? Does the local, county, state, or does the ICE agency Internal Affairs begin an investigation? Based on the information that I've received, I currently understand that the FBI has taken over the investigation regarding the officer-involved shooting.
Honestly, though, the FBI really should be the ones handling this federal case.
All personnel to convection CTR for debrief. Units clear of scene. Group of people screaming our streets and damaging property as they are going down the street. Marching.
That's a riot. That's a riot.
CLR just got out of the area and is safe. Okay, so you're already... What is with... Okay, our streets, and yet you're going to destroy things. How... The contradiction of the whole thing is so infuriating.
We live here. This is our place, and to show it, we're going to destroy it.
That's like...
You have no attachment to your neighborhood then. You have no respect for your neighbors. If someone did that on my street, people would not stand for it.
Yeah, that's like walking in like, this is my bathroom. It's the cleanest bathroom around. You can't use it, and then smearing shit on your walls.
Yeah, some psycho behavior, like for real.
Oh, then hold on. The next thing: 2 vehicles of people in masks videotaping OTS rear of convention center.
Gotta love ice watchers.
That's actually funny.
That's got to be the dispatch note, right?
Either that or it's angry cops note.
Oh my goodness!
Because one of the other ones was like, I guess this is Border Patrol. Because I'm wondering if it's him just trying to interpret their local jargon.
Yeah.
Protests now northbound on 4th by Government Circuit. All units from Convention Center to relocate to Parade ICE. Protesters continue to march throughout the city. 190 updating their location.
Okay.
Currently front of pack. Per command 1280 and strike team ongoing to federal court. Coming up the staging area for unlawful assembly. Okay, so they already know that this is a riot. Yeah. Group at federal courthouse coming up to the staging area for unlawful assembly. Group at federal courthouse blocking entry exit to courthouse from live streaming scene. They have mace on them. Incident reopened. Okay, so they're already threatening to basically assault these officers.
That had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, but well,
is this got to be the ACAB? This has got to be the ACAB crowd, like
probably, or Antifa or some
other extremist nonsense group.
Here's the thing: you followed these people all around the city to, number 1, impede, number 2, harass, and number 3, which I'm hoping is not the case, assault these people. Because they're making it very clear that they are armed, even if it is with a non-lethal item. That does not mean that they are not carrying lethal items.
Yeah. We'll put it like this for everyone that can understand. Minneapolis is a PvP zone now. You ever played The Division? That's what you're going into at this point.
Minneapolis is now Fortnite, but less fun and colorful.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Be safe out there. I have heard...
Just make good decisions. As adults.
Cooperate with police when they give you a lawful order. If the order is get out of your vehicle and you're obstructing traffic, that's a lawful order.
Or, don't do crime.
That you think that'd be the easiest one, but apparently it's difficulty impossible for these morons. Sorry, I'm getting like.
No, I know, I'm getting there too, and I know we're feeding off each other. So I did not read these because I was on my phone and it was very, very tiny text. So I'm like, okay, I didn't see all these, and so this information is all new to me.
Yep. So if there was any doubt in the world that Tim Walz is a retard, this should settle it right here, because he has to know this dispatch record, right?
Here's the thing. Again, I know people are just misguided. I hope that the best thing that comes out of this is people have a coming to God moment of, what are we doing? Is this the type of life I want to live? And try and change. Change doesn't happen overnight. I understand that. But at a certain point, people need to reflect on themselves and go, am I the problem? Am I being reasonable? Is there another way that I can live my life to be a better individual? Because rioting, trying to run people over, like harassing, assaulting, everything that has happened within this dispatch calls is like, it's the fall of society.
It really is becoming Escape from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to really do here? If we
can't call
Tim Walz put the National Guard on standby, and he made it sound like he was doing that to have local PD work with the National Guard to push out ICE. If he does that, that is an insurrection.
Yes.
And that means the Insurrection Act is in play. And if Trump doesn't invoke it here, he looks weak.
Oh my God! Could you imagine if Trump kidnapped Waltz?
My goodness.
Delta Squad. Guess who's getting nogs?
We're capturing another El Presidente here. Honestly, though, like, this whole situation, Minneapolis specifically, was already in a bad spot, a really bad spot. Quality Leering Center, these children's centers with 0 children, the fraud.
Yeah.
This might be Tim Walz's Hail Mary to try to get out of charges that are coming from that.
Probably. But again, it's not everybody in Minneapolis. It's a select handful of people. And it's a big hand, mind you. It's a big handful.
Yeah, but if you don't like it, you need to speak out against it, even if you're on the same side as them.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you're endorsing what they're doing.
And I know it's hard for everyday common people who have families, because it's not like most people can just pick up and leave, right?
Yeah.
It's people feel trapped. People feel like if they leave, that they will have nothing and will not be able to rebuild from nothing.
Sometimes rebuilding from nothing is better than watching everything get destroyed.
And that's true. I don't disagree with that statement, but it's understandable to want to hide and just hunker down and hope the storm passes.
I get it if you're hiding, but if you're voting for these same politicians that are doing this kind of thing,
yeah,
you really should not be doing that if you don't agree with what's happening. So, yeah, if this, I have no faith that this is going to be a come to Jesus moment for any one of these people, because they're so set in their ways and aggressively ignorant that they will not, they'll refuse to learn from this. So,
and we can still pray for them.
Yeah, we can pray. They're in God's hands, not in mine. That's what I'll say.
I know, but
like, I believe in God. I believe that through Jesus, all things are possible. Unfortunately for me, I'm not Jesus, and I do not have God's endless patience.
Yeah, that's a very fair. That's a very fair claim.
I'm a flawed human, just like anyone else. But at this point, whatever's going on in Minneapolis, it needs to stop, because this kind of thing spreads. It doesn't stop in Minneapolis. It's going to go to New Orleans. It's going to go to St. Louis. It's going to go to San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York City. These leftists and all their organizations, they have cells in each of these places, and they take this as a personal affront to their movement as a whole. They have this whole saying like, take one of ours, we'll take all of yours kind of thing. It's not going to de-escalate.
But here's the thing, you know damn well if she would have ran that ICE agent over, they would have been cheering.
Oh,
they would
yeah.
have been celebrating.
Yeah,
This
and
would
what we
have
would
been
have
just
done
like
as
Charlie Kirk all
prosecutor.
over again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's what separates us from them, is that we can condemn the individuals responsible for the actions, but we also have to call out the rhetoric that they've been using at this point. The way they choose to present facts, the way they choose to ignore facts, the way they choose to lie. These are things that we can call out.
Yeah.
I call it a general leftist tactic. I know that not all leftists are like that, but we don't really see the same from the other direction. Not to the same extent.
It's always the extremists of a singular group. It's not every group, or one group is perfect and the other's not. It's no matter what group you are in, you are always going to have people to the extreme that make it hard to be a part of your group and to be proud of the people in it.
That's why you have to call them out when you see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a lesson that the right has had to learn over the years. The left just hasn't.
Yeah.
And I feel like they've been letting it go for too long, and now people are choosing to walk away from the left instead of pushing back and reclaiming it. The reasonable left is out there. As much as I disagree with him, Bill Maher comes to mind. I actually appreciate what he does. I think he does good work. He calls out the crazy, and we'll never see eye to eye, but at least I believe I could talk to Bill Maher. It may not be productive in the end. It might be a shouting match or talking past each other, but at least he's not going to call for my head on a pike like these people do.
Yeah.
And so that's what I actually don't even care about algorithm reach at this point. They don't. What you got to realize about these people, they don't. Trying to remember how the saying goes. They don't want to kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi because they want to kill you, and that's how it is. So these violent extremists on the left, and
so what you're saying is we just need to call ourselves Nazis, and then they can't kill us.
I don't know if that's how that works.
Look, man, I just need to make a joke.
Looking for anything to break this up. I know. I'm sorry. I can hear my heart pulsing in my left ear. Like that's how bad this is.
Oh, it's rough. I know.
I'm trying my best not to like full on crash out, but man, seeing these call log.
We're almost done with the video. Just go ahead and play it.
Between the ICE agent and Miss Good. But what's my conclusion? I've stated all of these things, and I'm sure you might have picked up a little bit on the way, especially when I'm talking about the detainment, that this is a legal shoot. This falls underneath the term that my friend Donut Operator has coined, and that's awful but lawful. What a horrible incident. A mother of 3 is dead. An ICE agent trying to do his job is obstructed and now finds himself in the middle of a homicide investigation with him as the potential suspect. Tens of hundreds of thousands of people clamoring for the head of the ICE agent without due process happening, and I can only imagine doxing him and trying to threaten his family members who had nothing to do with it. And a middle-aged woman, 36, 37 years old with 3 kids. The kid's father already passed away a couple years ago.
Okay, that's her second husband died. Her first husband has full custody of the other 2 children. She divorced him. So that's before you worry too much about all 3 kids, only one is in the rough spot, which still sucks, but the other 2 still have a dad. So
but genuinely, I and it's funny because I came across a couple of these. What happened to the dog?
Yeah,
genuinely, I do want to know what happened with the dog.
I'm going to hope it survived. It's kind of a bystander in this situation in the worst possible way. But yeah. All right.
Now left with no more biological parents? And her death celebrated as a fuck around and find out moment? Ugh. 2 things can be true at the same time. It can be a horrible incident that resulted in the death of an American. And it can be a lawful shoot brought on by an individual who ignores direct commands and panics. If you want to see me dive a little deeper into this incident, the rest of this video is going to be on Pepperbox, where it's always uncensored and you get tons of additional content.
I can't show that on YouTube.
I'm about to do now. And I'm far from the only one on there. Best way to support the channel is get yourself a shirt. I got a Jump Out Boy shirt. I got a whole bunch of Anger Cop stuff.
Actually, I ordered one of those.
That's a cool shirt. I like it.
Shirt is ready, brand new, and on
I also
the
got the shirt that says "Basement Jesus Approves."
Cheapest way to support the channel is leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Am I dumb? You can say I'm dumb. I don't give a shit. But why am I dumb? Did I miss something that you thought was important that I should have brought up that could have changed my mind, or something that bolsters my point of view, and that the shoot was legal? Can't wait to read it in the comments. See you next time, weirdos.
That was
Yeah, it's a rough
great,
one.
great video, but man, that was brutal. Like, basically, I feel bad for the ICE officer more so than I feel bad for the lady, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, for being completely honest, it doesn't matter at this point because unfortunately that lady is no longer with us to share her experience, to help us to understand what actually happened.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Every wrong decision made along the way led to that conclusion, and there were so many off ramps that she could have taken that she didn't, and I don't know. I think her sort of smug expression before it all goes down makes it harder for me to feel bad.
Oh yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm only human. I will not dance on her grave. I'm not that much of a ghoul. I do think that this really was a FAFO situation, though. Like, every step she took along the way to get there. Come on. So yeah, no, it's not good she died, but what'd the ICE officer do? Lawful but awful. Don't operators right. Anyway, sorry that was so heavy, but it's important to talk about these kinds of things. If you made it this far, and you found anything that we talked about insightful or helpful, a like and a subscribe would be appreciated.
Josh, add explosions. Bam, 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 bam. Sorry.
All right. Bye-bye, YouTube.
Bye.